Hello, Renee Flamond here. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the like button and join us in our conversations. We have great conversations down below these videos if you read them. This topic is obviously, it hits home to me since I am somebody who's an empath and I'm codependent like we discussed in our last video. Empath is kind of like codependency's cousin, okay? Maybe, kind of, like. And if they're very closely related, and many times if someone has one, then they have the other. Not always. Like with me, I have both. And as we stated, with codependency being a magnet to the narcissist, so is empathy, being an empath. Oh, and by magnet, I mean magnet. Magnet. They love it. Remember, they can't feel any. They want you to. Oh, yeah. They'll pull on those heartstrings. They'll tell you stories of strife, bad childhood this, bad marriage that, woe is me, story after story, business partner stole half your money. I mean, they'll come up with all kinds of things. And in you come, so sensitive to all of it, and they see it. They see your reaction. So the more you react, the more they feed you. You are broken for them. You feel so hard. You want to help. You want to fix it. You want to repair everything. You want to love them. You're going to love that hurt right out of them. You're going to prove to this person who presents themselves with these stories as unlovable that you do indeed intend to prove them wrong and love them unconditionally. It's perfect for them. Unconditionally. Right? Unconditionally. So you make that vow to yourself in the beginning because you're feeling bad for this broken person. Now, okay, I'm going to love them unconditionally. What happens? We said that to ourselves. It's a vow we have. You promised yourself and them. So now what's going to happen as they wrong you and wrong you and wrong you and wrong you? I said I'd love them unconditionally. And then they're wronging you. I said I'd love them. I'm not abandoning them like this person did, or that. I said I'd love them unconditionally. I don't think the acts of betrayal and disloyalty that they impart upon us is what we had in mind. It's okay to have some conditions. It's not your child. I understand that is an unconditional love that you can't ever explain to somebody maybe who doesn't have a child, right? Or maybe they feel it for their parents, or maybe they feel it for, a pet feels that for a human. You're not obligated to have that unconditional love to them because they pulled on your heartstrings because you were an empath and they told you all these stories to get you feeling bad for them. And it can happen when you're empathetic. Sympathetic is having the ability to feel bad for someone else's misfortune, right? Empathetic is being able to actually put yourself in someone else's shoes and truly feel what they're feeling. Or more accurately, not able to put yourself, you do put yourself in someone else's shoes. You can't help it. I can't help it. I certainly cannot help it, and therefore I feel everything hard, wicked hard, as we'd say from Rhode Island. It's nearly impossible for me not to put myself in it, right in it, what somebody else is going through. This is prime for the narcissist. They bet on us giving chance after chance after chance, because we vowed to be there for them. They pulled on those strings. We're invested in repairing them, loving them unconditionally. I know very strong women who would have left at the very first turn. And I'm not saying being empathetic means you're not strong. That's not what I meant to say. Maybe it's more accurate to say, I know women who maybe aren't this strong empath type quality. Therefore, they would have been able to say and keep it at bay with sympathy and say, I feel very bad you went you went through that. What a terrible story. So it's dinner time. What do you think? Chinese or... That might even throw the narcissist. They love what we do. I'll sit there talking for 5 hours through dinner, in however long they need me to. Won't even think about food. That's how hard I'll feel. They love that. It's all about them. You're spending the time talking about them. They're reeling you in. They got you right here. They know it. They see it. They smell it. They love it. And you know, these stronger women, the people that I know, they're not going to be swayed into feeling bad for someone over their own feelings. They are people who put themselves first. And really, shouldn't we? Against another adult? I'm not talking about children. I'm talking about prioritizing yourself and what you deserve over someone else's needs, especially if there's someone that isn't doing the same. And is doing a detriment to your needs and wants. Is continually hurting you. Yet we put our needs. I'm talking about making sure you're spending time, your valuable time, with someone who is on the upper level of everything good. I'm talking about knowing your worth is high enough that it isn't your duty to remain and fix this person. Or love that hurt right out of them like we told ourselves that we would. They've told you things to draw you in. They probably made stuff up to draw you in. Well, may have. Please, of course they did. Of course they did. And I don't think that it is something that we should make our own needs take a back seat to theirs anymore once we catch on and we see that there's betrayal after betrayal. Fight the urge to remain in an empathetic state and fight the urge and say to yourself, no, no more. Be highly sensitive, like the empath you are, to the fact that that is not proper treatment. Be highly sensitive to the other quality an empath has, and you want to seek justice, right? You want to seek justice. That's what made me stand up and fight with my narcissist and argue and persist trying to get that truth. Challenge him. I'm very into right and wrong. This is the right way to be. This is the wrong way to be. How could you be that way? What do you mean? I don't even understand. I'm highly sensitive to that. And I wouldn't let anything go. I wanted him exposed to himself, to the world. Yet I still wanted him fixed. If not for me, then for life. And, for the next person. I'm feeling bad for the new supply all the time. That all goes with empathy. But try to tune in and be highly sensitive for your own self and see the injustices they're doing to you and try to get on the path of you want to become and make yourself be in a righteous place where you're not putting up with all that from them that we take on because we're an empath. And I can teach him. I'm going to save him. Save? What save? There's no saving. And why us anyway? It's not our responsibility. They're an adult. We're not going to teach them anything at this age, which now we know. It's not our responsibility. Yet I took that on. I remain concerned for his new supply to this day because I'm an empath. Whichever one he's on. I can't help that. But I did finally learn to help myself not help him anymore. And it was tough for me to become unconcerned. When it's in you to be concerned, it's in you to be that way, and they've known it, and they've preyed on it, and they've worked that angle the whole time. Now all of a sudden, I got to learn to become unconcerned. Well, it didn't happen overnight, but I did get my empathy in check. And finally realized that although I like that quality in myself, I will fight to keep it at bay or in control when something feels off. It's exhausting going through life, caring so much about every person, everything that happens, every situation. It's exhausting. And getting that under control with the narcissist, even though they were so horrible, it was hard. Because it goes against the grain of what I'm like. I'm the type to give somebody a lot of chances. Which they know. They know that. And you know, getting that under control took work. But it's possible to get it under control and to curb it, at least in regards to the narcissist needs. You can still be the person people tell their problems to. You can still be the person that cries at everything, the person that has an empathetic ear. These aspects of being an empath, they're not going to hurt you. You know what I mean? But being privy to hearing somebody's story that's coming at you from a manipulative place and being privy to then feeling empathy for that kind of person can hurt you. So don't lose the part of you that wants and tries to help people. That's a nice quality, but not for the narcissist who doesn't deserve that kindness. No. Reserve it for someone who's deserved of that kindness. I even went so far as using that phrase when I was with the narcissist. Oh, but everyone deserves kindness. I'm just going to continue. Yes, you know what? Everyone does deserve kindness and compassion and grace. I agree with you. But at some point, not if they're continually imparting hurt upon you. Then I'm sorry. Retract it. They're not of the set of everyone deserving of kindness if they are bestowing infraction upon infraction upon infraction upon you. Do you know what I'm saying? And you're not going to love the hurt out of them. Nope. If you think your personality has any of this in it, pay attention next time something comes up as to what is actually driving you to hang in there and fix things. Again. And when I say, I know I've said it a few times, you're not going to love the hurt out of them. They came to you disordered. They're disordered while they're with you. And they're leaving you disordered. They're in life right now disordered. They were disordered before you knew them. Years long before you ever knew them. There is nothing, regardless of how empathetic you are, and man, they're eating it up every step of the way. There's nothing you're going to do. You're not going to guide them or teach them. I thought I would teach him. At least to save the rest of the world. Oh, yeah. I was feeling empathetic for the rest of the world. Because that's part of empathy. You feel it for everybody, not just the narcissistic partner. So I'm thinking ahead. I don't want him doing this to other people. I'll stay in I'm going to teach him about this disorder. I'm going to let him know this is not right to do to people. I didn't teach him anything. But being an empath, right? That's your concern. Everybody. I'm the person who at a public event or in an event or a party where there's friends, if there's two people and one's being rude to this one, I want to say something. It's not my business. And I'm not saying I do say something, but I want to butt in and save the person who this person's yelling at. I have to fight that urge because it's not about, spreading justice all over the world. You're not a superhero. You do what you can in your life, but we are highly sensitive to things that are happening around us. I see more than other people see, I think. I feel hard about everything around me. My mind never stops going. The feelings are always in there. It's a lot. And the narcissist doesn't deserve any of it, but they know it and they love it. Because you're the type to do all of the things we just said. And that works in their favor. It really does work in their favor, just as your codependency does. And if you have not one but both, then that's an extra battle you have. Either one is an extra battle you have. And narcissism is hard enough to deal with if you are not codependent, if you are not an empath. When you add these in, you got to get a handle on it. Look at your personality and know if something's driving you. It might not be what you think. Oh, but them, I miss them. Ask yourself. I had to actually challenge myself and say and realize I was really after, towards the end, fixing him for life. Not for me. I was done. I had moved. No, that was over. But I was so concerned, which is what led me to this channel. I guess that's kind of what led me. Not kind of. Right? I can't be in contact with every person that he knows for the rest of his life. But I can maybe try to talk to you and help you. It makes me feel bad that people are encountering narcissists all the time and going through any one of the stages of the cycle. I feel terrible for them. Terrible. So this is me trying to do something about it. If you are an empathetic person, I want you to look at that and see if that personality is keeping you there. It might be just the thing that helps you push you over the edge and realize, ooh, you know what? I am that kind of person. That personality trait in you, like codependence, could be the driving force in you sticking it out. I promised him I wouldn't leave. I promised him I'd fix it. I promised him I'd love him unconditionally. I feel so bad that everybody else left him. Everybody abandoned him. He's had a hard childhood, a hard this, a hard first marriage, a hard second marriage, whatever. You took it all on. And now you don't want to go back on. Guess what? No. There are certain things that are deal breakers. The contract is null and void with the infractions they pulled. If they remain good and true and you made these promises and you're going to fix them and stand by them, that's the person you stand by. That's not what happened here. No, that's not what happened here. Contract is null and void. But you said unconditionally. Well, guess what? I changed my mind. I have conditions. I didn't think of the conditions that I now have because I didn't know they were coming, narcissist person. I didn't have any idea that a human could do that to another person. I guess I'll watch myself saying unconditionally going forward because you're darn well sure I definitely have conditions. If the way you treat me, if you think that's what I meant by unconditionally, guess what? Then I guess I'm not going to prove it to you and oh well, I'm abandoning you also. Goodbye. Very hard for an empathetic person to get to that place. But you have to look at it differently. They don't deserve your empathy. They don't even have any. Remember that. They have none for what you're going through. And you're sitting there suffering in their shoes, trying to be delicate with their feelings. Just something to think about.